Good evening and welcome to the Monday, October 20, 2025 regular meeting of the Granville School Board. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. And Ms. Shaw, would you care to lead us?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone, online and in person. Take the roll, please. Welcome back, Brittany.
Mr. Wolf?
Here.
Ms. Shaw? Here. Ms. Deeds? Here. Mr. Cronk?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds? Aye. Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye. District highlights and recognitions, Mr. Brown.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I like how you guys positioned yourselves in the balcony. Very good. You can take good pictures. All right. In May of 2025, students from across Ohio auditioned for the 2026 All-Ohio State and Region Orchestras through blind audition recordings. Ohio is divided into 5 regions, with Granville being in the East Central region. The top students from each region earn a spot in these prestigious honor orchestras. This year, Granville students earned an impressive 8 seats in the East Central Region Orchestra, including sweeping the top 3 violin position or seats. Violinist Elizabeth Hu Van Reeth, Isabella Dewey, and Owen White earned the top positions in the first violin section, securing spots in the Ohio All-State Orchestra. This marks the 4th time Elizabeth and Owen have been selected for the Ohio All-State Orchestra, a rare and a remarkable achievement, but to take the top 3 positions is almost unheard of.
Yeah.
So what you guys accomplished is amazing. Other Granville students selected include violinist Cheryl Gu and Yingling Yang, violinist Alex Walker, cellist Kevin Gu, and bassist Noah Sojak, all chosen from a record number of auditions. Congratulations to all these talented musicians. We are proud of your accomplishments and look forward to seeing you represent Granville at the East Central Region and Ohio. Don't miss the East Central Region Orchestra concert November 16th at 2 p.m. held at the GHS Theater. And the All Ohio State Orchestra will perform on January 31st, 2026 at 2 o'clock at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. I also have to add this last note. Ellie is the concert master for the regional orchestra. This is the first time for any Granville student being the concert master. I don't know what that means. Maybe you can explain it to us, but that's the first violin. That's amazing. So please come on up and we can recognize your significant accomplishment. Congratulations. Don't sit down. We're going to take a picture. Congratulations. 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 All right, now, you have to form a line. I'm going to just join in with you. Okay, Mr. Burnett, can you get that? And parents, feel free to take as many pictures. Are we all good? This is the first of many paparazzi moments. Just get used to it. I'm used to it. Okay? I mean, but you guys might need a little. Are we all good? All right, congratulations. And I would it would not be doing our program justice if I didn't mention Samantha Schnabel and Matt Apachek for the work that they do in orchestra, building the program from the GIS grades all the way through. They do a phenomenal job. Our music program, entire department is amazing. Every element is just absolutely professional, and it's because we have talented students and wonderful staff and supportive parents. So thank you very much, and the rest of the meeting is going to be boring. So you can, hey, I'm just being honest. I don't lie to kids. All right, if you want to leave now, you can. But we're going to jump into the board policy section of the agenda. So, yeah.
Boy, you know how to empty your room.
Yes, in more ways than one. Okay, so now staff report, oh, actually, no.
Nope.
We have a little bit of time.
Number 3,
Yes.
the Granville Exempted Village School District Board of Education hereby gives public notice in accordance with section 3309.345 of the Ohio Revised Code that Jeff Brown, Superintendent, and Lisa Ormond, Principal of Granville Middle School, who are currently employed by the Board of Education, will be retired and seeking employment in the same positions following service retirement. Is there any public comment? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to public comments.
About other things.
About anything else?
Yes.
Hearing none, we'll go to Mr. Brown's exhilarating board policy update.
There was a moment I was worried that Mr. Bernath was going to come up and speak.
I warned him.
Yes. All right, what you see in front of you is the laundry list of board policies that we're going to go through. 99% of them are related to House Bill 96, which was the budget bill. So we are going to go through these relatively quickly, but I just wanted to call your attention to several of them. So the first new policy is related to van drivers. A lot of the board policy that we have is related to CDL bus drivers. They now in Ohio Revised Code have headed in van drivers into some of the additional language related to drug testing and other things that have to happen if there is an unfortunate incident where, you know, they're involved in an automobile accident. So we have, you know, the regulations, but we also have multiple policies that will be impacted by that addition as well. Board policy development and adoption. Some of the language included in this policy is related to the approval process that we go through. Obviously, first reading, then second reading, and approval. There are circumstances that they identify as emergency conditions that allow you to waive the first reading and approve on site. And there's also situations where we have editorial rights now in between meetings to make revisions that are editorial in nature, not necessarily material. You always have the opportunity to revisit those if you don't believe that the editorial changes were insignificant. If they were material, you have the ability to reevaluate those. Okay, budgeting and planning. This is also direct byproduct of House Bill 96. It is now a financial forecast, not a 5-year forecast. So some of the language that is included in the 5-year forecast has been stripped out of the policy now, and now you have current year plus 3, so it's a financial forecast,
Four-year forecast.
which is a forecast, 4-year forecast. So that is the budget planning. Revenue from tax sources. To me, and Brittany, feel free to jump in, this policy is really just determining what the amount and the type of levies that are required to be levied for in accordance with the statutory requirements for putting things on the ballot. So it really is just changing the,
Seems like minor language.
it's minor language tweaks, yes. Bidding requirements is just some additional, I would say, editorial comments. Business manager or other applicable administrator has been added to the policy. We, again, included the $25,000 threshold for the bidding requirements. So expense reimbursements. It was a prohibition for anyone accumulating individual points from
Yeah,
a
like
credit.
Kroger Plus points or frequent flyer miles,
Right.
those kinds of things.
And then the auditor of state released an opinion basically saying that people could receive those benefits if it didn't increase the cost for the district or anything like that. But also, I mean, sometimes people were trying to save us money. Like, a perfect example is if our family and consumer science teacher goes and gets a deal on food that they're gonna prep and uses their Kroger Plus card and gets a lower amount, she potentially could get some benefit from that, but we actually benefited from the lower price. So there's some adjustments in that language. Anything else on there?
No.
Okay. Emergency management and safety plans. That is related to the protocol that we have now embedded into our safety plans related to the cell phone ban. Remember, there were a couple of reasons why students could have access to their phone. One of them was the safety plans, which Mr. Carpenter included in his annual update, and we now solidified in board policy. Student transportation services. This is really just an editorial comment. It added in accordance with statutory timelines and obligations to the designation of the bus stops and scheduled times. We had several bus safety items that came out of the governor's school bus task force, but also made its way into the budget bill. Most of the items that are listed in this policy, if not all, we do already. It just actually spells it out now in the policy more specifically. So there's a lot of language that was added to this policy, including some of the trainings that we have to do for the students. Student conduct on managed transportation. It adds van drivers into that policy, and that we have to make sure that students stay behind any barriers that are in the van, and again, comply with any seatbelt requirements, because vans have seatbelts.
And just a quick question about cell phones on buses and things like that. They're prohibited on buses? What?
So yes, right now, we do not have students accessing they can listen to earbuds and other things like that, but we don't have them accessing their phones on the ride home. Now, overnight trips, like the Washington DC trip, many students use their phone as a camera, and we want them, and because there is kind of an increase in safety, we allow them for overnight trips.
But so they're not allowed to let their parents know when they'll be home, or if there's a delay or anything?
Ride 360 does that for them. So, okay.
But that's from bell to bell, like after,
Yeah.
or what about sorry, all right, we don't have to go through.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Don't-
we had a long, lengthy conversation about that. And in general,
Yeah,
bus drivers are driving the bus. The policy states one thing, I would assume that the practice is something different.
yeah, that's,
So,
you're fine,
is that an adequate answer?
that, yeah.
Thank you.
You're not gonna answer.
Um,
I think so.
Yeah, all right. We have the drug testing and non-routine use of school buses or motor vehicles. Again, these are all part of that motor van addition to proper licensing and all the requirements related to that. District Records Commission, record retention and disposal. They identified that records do not include personal notes or any document, device, item, regardless of physical form, whether an assisted device or application was used of a public official or official's attorney, employee, or agent that is used or maintained solely by the individual who creates it and stays with the creator. So basically, it's codifying something that's been talked about for years, which is if you are writing personal notes, those aren't subject to discovery. They're your personal notes if you don't share them. Once you share them, they're part of an official record and can be requested. Cybersecurity, something that Eric is definitely heavily involved in. As you know, House Bill 96 required every district to have a cybersecurity policy in place and a cybersecurity plan. And most of the school districts are using the national NISCA plans, and they are probably going to be audited as well by the Auditor of State, so we're going to make sure that our plan is in place. There will be associated guidelines that we'll keep internally, because for cybersecurity, a lot of the devices that we use could change from year to year. We don't want to have to keep bringing it back in front of you to approve a change if we are changing a vendor. So just know that that's occurring as well.
Mr. Brown, excuse me.
Yes.
Is that in conjunction also with the treasurer's office?
The audit?
Well, the cybersecurity
Yeah.
and,
I don't know what- yes.
So Fred, the answer based on the training is cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. Okay? Because everybody has a point of vulnerability. Students, parents, staff, board members. So that's why we do phishing campaigns. That's why we do those types of activities, to make sure that everybody's paying attention to, you know, the cyber vulnerability aspects. But good question.
and for those out in the audience, phishing is not with a rod.
Correct. It's a
PH.
PH. Yes.
And Jamie and I probably get more phishing emails than
Yes.
anybody else in the district. So
Yes.
definitely. And I don't know if it was in the policy or not, but something was put out that our cybersecurity plan will not be subject to public record
Correct.
requests as well, so.
Yes, it is carved out.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what we're going to do to protect ourselves. Here you go. Yeah, seems like something that would be intuitively smart. Next is tax issues. Again, this is talking about the notices that are required for levy and bond elections. Construction contracts and bidding awards, really the only thing is editorial, and it's just a letter of credit or other manner allowable under state law. So it's really just a technical update. Criminal records check is also related to vans. Professional staff assignments and transfers. So this is, you know, the board authorizes me the ability to assign and transfer staff. And generally, that's a management's right. There are some collective bargaining provisions that could influence that. But they have identified that the superintendent shall not use seniority or continuing contract status as the primary factor in determining the teacher's assignment. So there are some other areas that seniority could be utilized, especially in our classified environment, but they have put that now in state law, and it does supersede collective bargaining. So Dave will probably talk about that on Thursday. So if you have a contractual language in your collective bargaining agreement that is counter to this, it does supersede it. And in every collective bargaining agreement is a statement that says, if state law changes, the collective bargaining documents change as well. Health education, some technical language, they added federal to law, so now it's state and federal law. Programs for students who are gifted, there were quite a few aspects of gifted and acceleration changes that are related to making sure students have access to higher ed curriculum. I would say in a lot of ways, Mr. Bernath was a pioneer in some of this work in making sure kids were grade accelerated and had acceleration plans that matched what they could produce in the school environment. And we've been doing that for years. Now the policy is kind of catching up in a lot of ways. And then there are certain assessment instruments that they have now included including model policies and model acceleration policies. Reading skills and assessment intervention. So now high dosage tutoring for students on RIMS, which are the reading improvement plans, can get high dosage within the classroom period. Before that had to operate outside of, now it can be done inside that environment. There is also reading skills assessment and intervention. Where am I? Am I on the next one? Yes. There's also either board adopted or state approved assessments. So either one is now part of the language that is utilized in the third grade reading guarantee policy. Okay, extracurricular and co-curricular, something that I'm very fond of and I'd like to talk with you for about an hour. No, I'm just kidding. It's the addition of ice hockey language into co-curricular and extracurricular activity policy. And really what it is a student that is enrolled in another district, if their district does not have a hockey team, but there is a hockey team in an adjacent, within a 20-mile radius actually, they can potentially participate in that hockey team. Now, we have always had the Newark Generals, which is a club team, and the Generals pull from a pretty wide radius, almost 45 minutes out. But this is opening up, I think, ice hockey to a broader audience because less school districts have actual hockey teams.
So this is for hockey as a varsity sport?
Correct. Yes.
And the Generals are strictly a club team?
That they are a
Don't
club.
participate in the same league or with the same teams and so forth, so it couldn't be applicable?
Correct. And then the interscholastic activity or athletics is also ice hockey related. The grading systems is really about weighted grading scales and making sure that you're consistent between AP and CCP and the different ways that students can achieve their scores. So it's kind of like making sure that they're comparing apples to apples.
Any difference from our current practice of how we've done
I
that?
Ryan, I don't think so.
The one new thing is that CTE programs that are CCP in nature
Yeah.
have to be weighted even if you don't have an associated weighted program or course in that particular subject area.
Can you give me an example of one of those classes?
Yeah, so like if we would offer financial literacy as CCP, which
Okay.
we will be doing very soon, we don't have any business AP courses at the high school.
So therefore, in the past, we wouldn't have weighted it, but since it's a CTE career tech course, that is a CCP course as well, we have to weight it, we're required to do that, even though there are no AP business courses at the high school.
Will all of our financial ed be going that way, or there'll be an optional?
It would be an option. The college will have to accept the student, but it will be an option for them.
Within the same classroom, or separate scheduling?
It depends on, we don't know the parameters of what's going to get them into that class, so if it's the majority of kids, yeah, they will be separate classes. If not, they'll be mixed.
Okay, thank you.
Promotion and retention of students, they removed any student who is truant for more than 10% of the required attendance days for the current school year. So they removed the truancy aspect of the promotion and retention language. However, you're going to see in other policies that they have removed medical as an excused absence. So all absences now count, not all. When you're excused for religious purposes, that those don't count, but everything else does. We're going to talk a little bit about that because that's going to have a dramatic effect. I mean, we have kids that are battling significant life diseases that we are still responsible for educating. They're not physically present. So it's, I think it's bad policy, but it's state law, so we'll implement it.
And
And that's-
another program that's included in the audit.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's relative to grade advancement then?
No, this is, well, yes, it's tied to that, but the medical piece is more for, on the truancy side. And Ryan can add to that when we get to
Yeah,
it.
so right now,
Yeah.
this current year, if a student has a medical excuse, so we have a note from a doctor,
Yeah.
when they come back, those hours don't count towards their contribution to chronic absenteeism
Right.
or truancy or whatever. Whether excused or unexcused, it's like the absence doesn't even exist because it's
Yeah.
medical in nature.
Yeah.
Now that medical absence becomes excused, just like mom or dad calling in and saying the child's sick. Those hours will all count towards that calculation. And the minute a student hits 10%, they're now considered chronically absent, which is a report card measure, which will increase significantly the number of students that reach that threshold.
So then how
Because
does,
doctors' offices aren't open at night.
Right.
and how does that affect us as a district? What does the state
Well,
do
it's-
if we have a certain number of truant
It's
children?
a report
It's a report
card
card
measure
measure
included
that's in-
in gap closing.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's
it
not
will
gap
be
closing.
more challenging for people to remain at their current level of reporting based on this measure, or based on this change.
And this is gonna have a big impact statewide, right, because of the current status of
Yeah.
truancy in general, and I'm guessing there's a lot of medical things that are associated with that, I don't know.
It's-
If you're trying to find the common sense thread, you're not gonna find it. Because in every other thing that they've passed recently, it's allowed for exemptions for this, that, or the other. And this one, I mean, this doesn't pass the common sense test. Like, if a doctor is saying you need to be out, that should not be included into chronic absenteeism. So, anyway, my 2 cents, Jeff Brown's 2 cents. Acceleration, I already talked about that. That is providing advanced learning opportunities required by law, which we already do. Graduation requirements, we're going to be adding some of the elements in, especially around permissive language around financial literacy instruction and how students gain credit for that through graduation requirements. School ceremonies and observances, patriotic exercises, Constitution Day. It used to be that we celebrated Constitution Day on September 17th, but now all students need to have a celebration or a recognition of Constitution Day. And so why is that potentially a change? Well, most of that work was done in like social studies classes when you get to 7-12. And so if you're not taking a social studies course, you didn't get that on that day. So now they're making sure that everybody knows that we will be celebrating Constitution Day on September 17th. And if it falls on a weekend or any other day, school is not in session, it will be held the previous week.
What typically do you do during Constitution Day?
That's a great question.
You don't have to answer right now if you don't.
Well, I mean, we talk about the formation of the Constitution as a central element of our democracy. It, depending on the levels, that was probably like a third grade,
Fair.
and then it goes all the way up. But, we've always recognized, according to board policy, Constitution Day. Okay. Student absences and excuses, excuse absences, this is where they have eliminated medically excused from the board policy. Interdistrict enrollment, I skipped it because we don't participate in it. So our board policy remains that we do not accept students from outside of Granville schools for open enrollment. So there is no change to that. There's changes to other policies that include the allowance for interdistrict enrollment. Truancy, you cannot be expelled for being truant, which kind of makes sense. We don't want to kick you out of school if you're missing school already. So that's now in our board policy. Religious expression days, we have not, if you go on our website, you will actually see that there is a list of religious holidays that it's not exhaustive, but if a person is celebrating a holiday that is not in our environment, one that's typically celebrated, students will have the ability for that to be excused. And so we had to provide that list on the website, and Mr. Bernath monitors that through the calendar committee and other aspects of things that he does. Yeah. Which one? Yeah, thank you. All right, I was holding that, I just wasn't clicking. All right, release time for religious instruction. This one is really, there's an either or, and we chose that the student is permitted to be excused from school to attend a course in religious instruction for 1 period per week, minimally. Okay. Cell phones and use of electronic communication devices by schools. This is our cell phone policy. Now that is updated with the current cell phone ban information. It is inclusive of the caveats and the emergency management plan element. Reporting child abuse and mandatory training. They eliminated a lot of language and just said child sexual abuse prevention instead of a laundry list of explanation of what that means. But we are mandated reporters. Public's right to know. This is, instead of prepare the records, it's the public records. So they included public records into the language. Okay. And I think that's it.
Sure.
No. No, that's the training that we have to do as well. So, this is a first reading. So just when we get stuff like this, what I do is I read all of them, then I distribute them out to all the directors who are impacted and say, okay, FYI, this is changing. Let me know if there's any permissive language that needs adjusted. Like our graduation language, we needed to update in a couple of different ways. So Ryan communicated that to Janelle. Brittany added in the hitting thresholds, all that stuff. And then we bring it to you, and then once we adopt it in the second reading and approval, then we send it back to OSBA with all the changes, and they upload it on our website. So it's kind of a lengthy process. It's more lengthy when we have the volume of policy changes that we have in front of us today. But I just wanted you to be aware of those policies. Any questions? Excellent. I will turn it over and welcome back Brittany.
I hope your report's as riveting as
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well,
yes, I want an international.
Not for reading for the policy, not yet.
it's worse. Nope.
Disconnect.
What's that?
Is it disconnect yours?
How do I do that? Do I need the remote?
No.
Oh, I can stop mirroring. Yes. Okay, I got it.
Brittany's just been gone so long.
Everything's changed a lot.
Yeah, technology.
There we go. Thank you. We'll get used to it. Maybe.
Right, we have our September financial report, and first I want to say thank you to Kim. I've been back 5 days, so she actually prepared the report, and I'm just presenting for you. And also thanks to her for filling in while I was gone, and the rest of my staff and everybody else. So looking at our cash balance, I'm sure you've heard this while I've been gone, but our cash balance is below where we were last year. That's the opposite of what you've been hearing in the past, but just as a reminder, that is due to the transfer to the capital projects fund, which we anticipated and was an intentional move to support our capital needs. Revenue for the month of September, just a couple of timing issues this month. So under local taxes, we have our rollback and homestead that came in a different month than last year, as well as our payment in lieu of taxes, which falls under all other revenues. So just timing issue on both of those compared to last year. And then year-to-date, same items carried through there. On the expenditure side, just our normal base salary increases under salary and benefits, and then under purchase service, we had last year a timing issue with 2 custodial payments in 1 month, so it's throwing off that comparison for September. Year-to-date, very similar story to what you heard all of last fiscal year with salary and benefits, as well as contracted service being higher than the previous year. We have 2 ongoing capital projects, which that's said to be completed over the summer, and I came back and they're not quite done yet, so I updated that. We anticipate those projects being done in November. A part was on back order or something like that, which caused a slight delay, but those should be paying out over the next month or so.
What was the total magnitude of capital projects transferred in the big lump sum that we did?
Yeah, it was about 8. Because, well, in total for the year, because we had done one previously for the current project. So we have not utilized the future projects allocation yet. Then just our cash reconciliation. And that rounds out the monthly updates. Then I did just want to give A brief update on what's happening with property taxes at the state level. So House Bill, I have to look at the slide because there's too many House bills to remember all the numbers now. So House Bill 186 has to do with the 20 mil floor. So as you know, we are not currently on the 20 mil floor, so this would not have an immediate impact on us. However, it does impact a majority of districts across the state in Licking County and could potentially impact us in the future by way of not allowing us to get to the 20 mil floor. Very problematic, would directly reduce revenue because it's also retroactive. That's huge. So that they're potentially acting on as early as Wednesday. I think there was some conversation about taking out the retro part of that.
So when originally introduced in June, House Bill 186 was actually something that the educational entities were kind of advancing as a compromise. In July, August, they added an amendment that had retroactivity included in it. And that retroactivity is clawing back millions of dollars. And ultimately won't necessarily help the taxpayer because then that's just going to accelerate when they have to ask for new money. And then that's going to have other things that they are planning on addressing, removing, less support, so they'll actually have to be taxed more in the end. So we're really advocating on behalf of all Ohio districts to eliminate the retroactivity.
Another issue is that when they're looking at these bills, they're still looking at FY24 cash balances for school districts. Why, it is unclear, because we obviously have a whole additional year of data more recently. So I think that's skewing the reality of the issue.
And again, no impact on Granville schools because we're not on the 20 mil floor, and maybe in the future, if we were potentially heading that way, it was not soon nor very realistic in my
Right.
opinion, or whatever.
Yeah.
But how much, do you have a sense for other school districts around us in central Ohio that people will be hearing about, right? Like, we're often influenced by tax policy in other places, and we always say, Granville's the only one in Licking County that's not on the 20 mil floor. Are there gonna be, do you think, significant changes? Have you heard from other treasurers that this is really hitting home for
yeah.
them close to here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna be an immediate loss of millions of dollars, and to Jeff's point, in a situation where you're losing revenue, you may make a decision to reduce your expenses if given the opportunity. When money is taken away, if you remember back in 2020, when money was taken away from us in the last 2 months of the fiscal year, we had no opportunity to have adjusted our revenue in that year. So it's a direct hit to cash balances. Sorry, go ahead.
Will those districts, will there be districts that are no longer on the 20 mil floor
Yes.
because of this?
I think it's like
So-
half of the districts that are currently on the 20 mil floor will come off.
Wow. Okay.
Brittany, for
So
those,
some people won't be the only ones running levies.
Right.
can you explain, especially for those watching online, about what
Yes,
20 mil
yes.
floor is and how they get there?
Yes, so the 20 mil floor refers to the effective tax rate. So as we've talked about, each levy has a full voted rate. That's the rate that's on the ballot when the issue is passed. Over time, as property values increase during the reappraisal process, the tax rate is adjusted down so that what the district collects remains about the same. So as those rates get adjusted down, they get further and further down. The 20 mil floor means that those rates collectively, all the levies combined, cannot go less than 20. So that reduction factor applies till you hit 20 mils in total for your district, and then it stays at 20. So when you're on the 20 mil floor, it means that the district does see an increase in revenue, taxpayers do see an increase in taxes owed with the reappraisal process. So it's very different than what we're seeing for that reason.
And when you talk about clawing back money, that's going to the state, right? That's not They're not gonna, are they gonna write checks to
That's
individuals?
a really good question. I don't know that the bill specifies that.
How far back did they go?
2 years. 23 and 20.
Because they're trying to capture 23, which was the most counties in the state had reappraisal in 23.
So we don't know, if this passes, we don't know where that money's going.
Well, or if it's clawed back, it might just be that they don't have to pay moving forward. I don't know how they're going to actually exercise this, because the county auditors have actually said this puts them in a very bad position. So,
Lower taxes, higher taxes.
Right.
That's gonna
It just-
push things all around, that's gonna be great.
if they eliminate the retroactivity, it's probably a good policy to approve.
But still, half of the current districts come off the $20 million
Yeah.
floor?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Has the Senate proposed similar bills?
So,
'Cause we
like
wouldn't have to
Brittany
worry about
said,
that,
there's probably 19 bills, one of which is called the tax trilogy. That is 3 bills combined. So yes, there is,
So both houses could feasibly pass something that. would
this is
be-
going to pass
be ugly, okay.
within the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Who put retroactivity into the bill?
We don't know. That's done, I don't know who the amendment was from, but it's not helpful. So, more importantly is House Bill 335.
Yeah, so House Bill 335, this one has to do with inside millage. So that would immediately impact us. As we've talked about, inside millage is one of 2 ways that we see growth in our revenue due to inflationary factors. So what this would do would be to cap the growth that we would receive in inside millage based on historical inflationary rate. So using 3% over the last 2 years, if we had been capped, we would have lost about $340,000 in revenue during that period of time. So this, though, is not retroactive. That's not real money that's lost. It's the loss of future potential revenue. But still would be a significant hindrance to our ability to generate new revenue.
But only in our capital fund, is
No,
that correct? Or is this-
both. We have-
Do we have inside knowledge in the operating
We
fund?
have, yeah. Yeah.
It's very small.
Yeah, we have 2.45 in general fund and 2.75 in TI.
How do they define inflation?
It is a GDP
That would-
deflator. Yeah,
GDP deflator, national,
yeah, national.
not, okay.
And again, most school districts use inside millage for permanent improvement because that's where you see the most inflationary growth in construction projects or work that you are doing to maintain your physical assets. And so, like, this does directly impact our ability to, do the projects that are growing in cost. So more districts will defer because they don't have the revenue.
And the districts that are impacted the most are the ones whose value of the housing stock is increasing more than inflation, right? So if you think about a place like Granville, where we've historically, and I would forecast, in the future, have significantly improving housing prices because it's a wonderful place to live and it's got great houses and so forth, right? We're going to be significantly influenced by this
Yeah.
loss of future revenue that would go to capital projects in our operating fund. Which will just accelerate either us having to pass operating millage or increase the amount of operating millage, or somehow figure out something on the capital side as well.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean,
to have
it would
another
just be
levy there, which we've tried.
transfers, yeah.
Successfully to avoid,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
or transfers, that's a good point.
Or limits your ability to do projects.
And I I think the most important piece is, we wanted to put these two in front of you, but there's like literally 8 others.
These just are the most imminent, so
Yeah.
I didn't,
Yeah.
finish that this is expected to pass in its current form in the coming weeks as well, so, yeah.
Welcome back.
Stay tuned.
Thanks, Brittany.
I'm always here to bring the positive stories.
Maybe to rethink when she does her report. That she does it right at the beginning, then commendation.
Before commendation.
Starts
You're right.
better
Yeah.
again.
Exactly.
We're gonna feel better now because we're moving on to board discussion.
All right.
Mr. Brown, any?
Yeah, I would just like to, we're entering into postseason, and so boys and girls cross-country, volleyball, football, boys and girls soccer, our soccer teams are amazing, there's a lot of fun things happening in the sports arena right now. So that's just an exciting time, and, our band and music departments continue to elevate when it comes to what you heard tonight from a commendation standpoint, but also, when our band plays on Friday nights, it's amazing the commentary that we get from people that have just never seen a high school band perform like that. So it really is kind of fun.
So, it'd be nice to find ways to kind of leverage and celebrate that with the community in people that don't have kids in school, right? And I'm not sure how to get, seniors or people that have yet to have high schoolers and things out to some of these events, but it just feels so good, right? It's just great when you see all the different sports that we have and their great success and the music performances. And we've got a theater show coming up here in a couple of weeks as well. The more people that can attend that and really appreciate what Granville has, the better. And so, maybe that's something to highlight to the social media communications team, it's as important ahead of time to get people out as it is after to celebrate. So.
Yeah. And then the other thing, tomorrow at around, I think 9, I scheduled it to go out. Brittany put together a release related to the refinancing. So letting the district know that we saved $776,000 through Brittany's efforts to refinance our loans for the intermediate school and library. So that will go out tomorrow, and we will also send it to the Advocate and do some social media posts. So be looking for that. But kudos.
I just wanted to add, last week, right, Mr. Brown, was when you, at the Licking County Chamber of
Yes.
Commerce, Mr. Brown participated in a panel with Licking Valley Superintendent Heath and Newark's superintendents talking about workforce. And they also did a nice job of talking about the different challenges being faced by the districts with legislation. So they did a really nice job. It was a well-attended event, some really good questions. So kudos to Mr. Brown. They claimed he was 68 years old. And
Yeah. Trevor Thomas said I was 68.
And that's not old when
Yeah.
you're my age.
I
That's not
know,
old.
right? I can just clarify.
But no, you did a really good job, and there were a lot of kudos to CTEC too,
Yeah.
with the collaboration with the districts and within the county. So it was a really good event. I was glad I went to it. So thank you for doing that.
A lot of times people see us competing in a variety of different ways, but they don't see the collaboration behind the scenes. And we collaborate, and the treasurers collaborate all the time. And so I think it was an opportunity for the public to see how we banter back and forth and give each other a hard time, but we all also respect the work that is being done in all the districts. So it was good.
And each of you mentioned that
Yeah.
too, about the collaboration in the county and how it's really unique
Yeah, it is.
in Licking County, and we're really lucky to have that. So thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
We can work with them all on how to run a levy, committee together with the other communities.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, can we do that yet ourselves?
No.
We're still very strict.
No, yeah, we're constrained.
on that.
I haven't changed that rule yet.
No. I anticipate it will only get more restrictive.
Which is crazy, because if you've got twice as many, more than twice as many districts that will be running levies these days, that will be a very different tone across the state in terms of how the public understands school district finance. And maybe it's not a bad thing. I've always said levies are not necessarily a bad thing because it's an education point, right? That it engages people, right? And without that, people don't necessarily get engaged in understanding the complexities of school finance. So we'll see how that goes.
Any other board discussion?
Are we in public water and GIS yet?
Yes. Yes, we are on public water, and we just submitted our shutdown for the public water side of the well to the EPA.
Cool.
Yep.
Is that a big deal, or is it just
Yeah.
sign off?
You just sign off, and then there's actually you have to go through a capping process.
Okay. But we
Yeah.
don't anticipate any.
No, and the acceptance of the pipeline, the water line is, the village had the first reading last week. The next reading is November 5th, and I'll be there to talk to the village council about that process. And then it'll be signed, sealed, and delivered.
Leslie, real quick.
Pardon me?
I said Leslie, real quick, it's just for me. Athletic Boosters did their vacation giveaway at the football stadium. So congratulations to them on a successful fundraiser.
I didn't
And,
win that successful, I didn't win.
well, I think you're exempt.
I want my money.
Did it?
Yeah.
Granville Education Foundation earlier this week also awarded our teachers in classrooms over $12,000 in grants for the fall semester. So appreciate their hard work and effort in improving those and bringing a little bit more, I guess, flair to the classroom. And a lot of these grants were written by the students themselves. So thank you, Granville Education.
Thank you.
Okay.
Action agenda.
All right, looking forward to 26-27. It is the first reading of the district calendar. So,
Motion?
all right, so move. Cecile second. All right, as you know, Mr. Burnett facilitates the calendar committee with a group of members of the association. They work collaboratively and come up with a draft. That draft comes to you, and then we have 2 readings. Of note is we are very similar in the start of the school year. I think the first day is August 19th. We've moved a couple of days around so that some of the longer breaks have now a long weekend embedded into them. So the staff did a good job of figuring that out. And then the only other thing that I need to add is, and I just lost it, the first reading of the 2026-27 calendar.
But can you just elaborate on spring break and CTEC? Because
Yes,
I get
that's
questions
what I was
about
gonna
that
say.
all the time.
Yes, thank you.
I often get questions about that.
So, yes, so we communicate with CTEC. We talked about when we were going to have our break. The challenge for why we have to align is transportation. We provide transportation, so if we're off and they're on, then our bus drivers are coming in and covering that time for those routes. So there is a legal requirement for us to collaborate. Some districts choose to operate differently. We've always tried to align and make sure.
And we
that
send
we're
our
close.
students there as opposed to other districts that maybe do in-house CTEC work.
In-house, yep, exactly.
Thanks.
Yep, through satellites, yep.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Dietz.
Aye.
Ms. Shaw. Aye. Mr. Crum.
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Wolf.
Aye.
Next item is the approval of the agreement with Med Mutual of Ohio for services for the 26 calendar year.
So moved.
Second.
So, do you want to talk about this? I can talk about it if you want.
No, it's fine. This is just something that we needed to add as an annual approval item, is our agreement with Medical Mutual or whichever provider that we select for insurance coverage for medical. And every year, almost every year, we go through a process requesting bids to make sure that have the most competitive rates, and also try to get like a second year rate cap. And so Medical Mutual has been extremely competitive over the last at least 6 years since I've been here. I know we've been with them for quite some time, so we are gonna stay with them again for 26.
Do we approve multi-year contracts, or is it just the increase that is a part of a one-year contract?
Yeah, the increase is approved annually. Sometimes when there is the second year rate cap, it'll be for multiple years.
Okay. Okay, great.
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds? Ms. Shaw? Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Whittle?
Aye. Consent agenda.
Okay. We seek approval for item 8.01 through 8.11.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. We have several supplementals and routine business items here and a field trip and a couple of people providing additional services. So relatively routine.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Item
Financials.
9.01 is approval of the then and now resolution.
So moved.
We have several then and nows, one for subscriptions from Scholastic, secure student pickup, volleyball uniforms, and bus parts this month. Any questions on those?
The bus parts aren't on here.
I know.
Okay, but they're there?
We got added late.
Great. Okay, perfect.
Just copied.
Okay.
Apologies for
No,
that.
don't worry about it, just want to make sure it's
Yeah.
gonna be written somewhere.
Yes.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye. Thank you, everyone.